Thank you. On September 8th, 2025, this week called to order at 5 p.m. And we will do the roll call. James O'Toole, Natalie Thayer here, John Bars, Peter Markey,
here.
Ryan Casey,
Here.
Cole Mazaragios Anastasio,
Here.
Crystal Shea, here. Daniel Theobald, Eric Hagstrom,
Here.
Marilyn Johnson, Natural Resource Conservation Staff vacant. I don't know if the man's name's not there anymore. San Mateo County Ag Commissioner Corin Little.
She's not
Farm
here today.
Bureau-
She's not coming. She sent an email that she won't be here.
Okay, thank you, my dear. Farm Bureau Exec Director Jess Brown.
Here.
UC Co-op Extension Rep Dr. Igor Lacan. San Mateo County Planning Liaison Olivia Boo.
Here.
Thank you. Oral communications to allow the public to address the committee on any matter not on the agenda. If your subject is not on the agenda, the chair will recognize you at this time. For public members, is there anybody on Zoom, Olivia?
No hands raised.
Okay,
Thank you for
anybody here present of the committee, of the public? No, okay. Okay, number 4, committee member update and our questions to allow committee members to share news and or concerns for items not on the agenda. Committee members? No? Okay. Planning and Building Department Directors Report, Planning Liaison.
Okay, well, a few minutes, please. I need to, with all the tech difficulties, I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, one moment.
Okay, let the record show that John Bars is present. Olivia's checking something. She's gonna let me know when she's ready.
Okay, thanks for waiting. So for the director's report, there were no new plant agricultural applications that were received from the period of July 31st to August 27th. For incoming planned agricultural development permit applications, there was one received. It's for San Gregorio land. Applicant is Carrie Burke. File number PLN 2025-00287. Location 3300 Pomponio Creek Road, Pescadero. And it's for converting existing ag well to a domestic well. It's going to augment the existing domestic spring source that serves the ranch. It is appealable to the California Coastal Commission. There were 2 coastal development exemptions applications that were submitted during this time. The next meeting is October 20th. It is pushed off a week due to the holiday in October. And then 2 updates. There was an email that I sent today on behalf of Department of Public Works. County is having a workshop at the end of September, and hopefully you all receive that email. And then Zoom is going to be available, as well as the location was on that email. And then a notice, my understanding is the official notice will be, an official notice will be in the mail, I believe at the end of this week. And then I will also send that notice to you via email, but that was in your email today. Hopefully all of you received it. And then another item that is from Environmental Health. We have Environmental Health Staff Director Heather Forshee and then Ed Diaz, both from Environmental Health, and they are wanting to mention the Farm Labor Housing Safety Task Force, an update to the well regulations, and an increase in monitoring and reporting. And Heather is present. They are both present with you at this meeting. And then Heather, you can go ahead and I'll promote you to panelist.
Before we go to that, what was that September, that the email today?
Can you repeat what was in the email, I think, he's asking?
That is for Department of Public Works. Let me open it up again.
Okay, it's a proposed project at 37 Frenchman Creek Road in the unincorporated rural mid-coast area. Okay, we're fine if you want to go ahead.
You have the information. Okay, thank you. And then Heather,
For
are
the
you?
record, James. Go ahead, Olivia, I'm sorry, but just for the record, James Oku is present.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
And then
you.
Heather, are you comfortable to go ahead and let me finish promoting you to panelist? Oh, there you go. Got it. You're up. You're promoted.
All right, so I can share my screen.
There you go.
Okay, can everybody see the screen? No. Is there a delay?
Yeah, I guess let's give it a minute.
Hold on. Try this again.
Were you able to hit the green share button? Is that working okay?
Let me try again. Here's the share. Okay, there we go.
Oh, it's good. It's changing.
Share. There we go.
You're sharing. Great.
Yeah, hold on, there's a delay. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to roll through this quickly. We'll be coming back to this group on October 20th to answer your questions and further questions and to review this again. But we wanted to introduce this quickly to you as part of findings and recommendations from the Farm Labor Housing Task Force. That was the inspections that were performed in 2023 and 2024. As you know, there were 145 farm labor housing units that had safety checks performed. On them, and of the frequently cited issue, they had water problems, drinking water problems, and they had wastewater disposal problems. And 21 of the water systems serving 35 of the farm labor housing units tested positive for coliforms or E. coli. And there were 8 boil water notices issued, and those remained in place until corrections were able to be made. In addition to that, there were 18 units that either lacked or had substandard wastewater disposal. And so our recommendations are going to be shared here. Hold on, we've got a little bit of a lag.
You supposed to ask questions again?
Yeah, there might be some questions answered as we go. So just a little bit of the background for drinking water oversight as we dig a little bit deeper. A public water system is defined by the state and federal regulations, it's 15 or more service connections. And a service connection is defined as a house, could be, 15 houses attached to a water system. It could be one apartment complex with 15 units. It could be a water system with 15 RVs attached to it. So the number 15 is the magic number, at which point the state oversees that water system. Now, when you drop down a tier in state and federal regulations, the next level down is 5 to 14 service connections. And those two are regulated under state law, but those regulations are administered by local environmental health departments, including San Mateo County. And so no matter where you are in the state, state small water systems are administered by a local environmental health department. Now, any water system that serves fewer than 5 service connections currently has no ongoing oversight by any regulatory body. As you know, every time you set up a water system, you would pull a permit from environmental health, and we would just make sure that the water that is being generated from that new well is potable, and then that's the last time you hear from us. So what we are proposing is for this subset of 1 to 4 service connections, a new water system program be set up that would be for farm labor housing. And any water system from 1 to 4 service connections that serves farm labor housing would be overseen as a regulated water system under county ordinance. Well, let me just go over this. So the definition of farm labor housing we're proposing would be pulled from the county's farm labor housing policy that the planning department administers. And it would be essentially, if you look in the farm labor housing policy, it would be housing that is for farm laborers exclusively. I've got hard copies of this too.
Okay,
And then we'll also share it, and we'll go over it again. Got 10 for this. So,
Can we look at them now?
Oh,
while we're
sure.
talking?
sure.
Thank you.
And then we'll also post this online too. And so in the county's farm labor housing policy, they have 3 zones that are listed. And it's the PAD zone, the RM zone, and the TPZ zone. And so what would it mean to farm labor housing that is, again, it's 1 to 4 service connections. It doesn't include any service connections of 5 or more because it's already covered. It would be that farm labor housing in that 1 to 4 service connection bucket. And we are proposing that the same protections be afforded to these resident or these water systems that are provided for state small water systems. And that would include ongoing water sampling for bacteria. That they would report to bacteriological, and then if there are any problems that are noted, for example, if there's a system that has elevated nitrates or a concern of elevated nitrates, then we would ask the testing be done once, or if there's an ongoing problem, then it would be ongoing treatment and then monitoring. And these systems would be subject to regular inspections the same way that state small water systems are inspected, which is currently triennially or every 3 years or more often if there's treatment or if there are concerns about the water quality. Hold on. I know we've got a lot of questions, I can tell. So essentially, the cost would be borne by those who run the water system ongoing. However, there would be no cost through at least the summer of 2027. And then Supervisor Mueller is working with CEO to extend that fee relief further than that. So I know. So then we also, again, have the regional board oversees very tightly any septic system or outs ordinances and any technical manual changes. And we have been given the green light to make some minor changes out of the gate. And those are the minor changes that we'll be making to the technical manual, also called the OSM. And then we'll be working with the regional board to
Heather, I don't know if you might have froze, if you're still talking.
look at lines or the out ordinance for other. Okay, is there anyone online or is it just you?
Oh, no, it cut out for a minute. So if you could repeat, I think the part that you were just talking about.
Okay, so where was I? This slide. Okay, so these minor changes immediately in our technical manual, and so we'll be doing that now, making it easier to construct smaller outs. And it will essentially, if you read this, and I'm trying to go quickly because we are agendized, 1 to 2 bedroom design instead of, as you know, the minimum 3 bedroom design currently. Will be allowed to size that down based on the number of bedrooms. And then we'll be using the ADU framework for farm labor housing units to help with sizing accommodations so that they're more closely aligned. And as I mentioned, we're working with the regional board to undertake a larger review of the outs ordinance. That will take time. It will require their involvement, and it will, we've started that process, so that's going to be a bit. All right, so, okay, so as I mentioned, the tweaks to the outs technical manual, the minor tweaks we're in the process of doing right now. And the next time somebody submits something that would benefit from the changes, we will make sure that those are an option. And then we will be going to the board later this year with a proposal for the water system housing, and come back again formally in October to unpack this a little bit more. And then, like I said, the farm labor water system program, assuming or if the board approves the ordinance, it would go into effect shortly there. Okay. Okay. So I know that was a lot to take in. Everybody had asked for initially, and the PowerPoint presentation we'll make available. We do want to unpack this a little bit more in the October meeting. And I think I can answer questions, Olivia, but they would need to be scoped a bit.
Yeah, let me, hold on, please.
Should I? No? Actually, I should probably leave this on in case somebody has a definition question again. We'll just go straight back to it.
So we have questions. Is it okay to start with questions? To go to questions? what did you mean by scope? Just so people understand what you're
Right.
asking. So you want it to be concise?
No, she's got some bumpers that, because I'm not agendized or we aren't agendized, she wants to keep the questions focused
So did you
somehow.
want to read that first, what those requirements are before we ask questions, Olivia?
I think it'll
I
be
found-
best if the questions are, we can take a couple questions, but then for not a non-agendized item, the questions would have to be directed to me and or Heather if she is okay to do it that way.
Okay, is she not allowed to, is she she or you allowed to answer them?
So
Is,
because it's not agendized, yeah, it's strict because it's not an agendized item.
Where she spoke, we could speak.
But if we ask a question, I mean, if it's not,
Right. I have a question as a public.
go ahead.
Why was this not agendized? It's a very important topic and all of us have questions about it.
So that was me. We had deferred it to have it agendized and we didn't realize that it was ours to agendize. And rather than wait until October 20th, to get on the October agenda, we thought it was important to get here first, sooner, even if in an informal setting. But we will be back in October, to unpack this more.
I think, if I'm not correct, I mean, I work a lot of public meetings. I'm pretty sure you can take questions, but you should not supposed to answer them, but that's not my purview, but I've had quite a bit of experience in public meetings running them. That's just a
So-
suggestion.
Olivia, did you hear what the member of the public said? And she has a lot of experience in public meetings. And-
Just to be careful
Right,
not
so,
to have discussion.
so please let me know what you'd like me to
I mean,
do.
you have public experience. That's
I
fine.
respect,
So just one way
what this young lady's saying, but
Well, if you're coming back in October, I think that we say as many questions that are on our mind. And I think you have the right to submit questions between now and the next meeting. And then you gather all that and in the next presentation, you answer as many of those or all those questions. Plus it gives you something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah.
But I think that.
I
and then there
agree.
could be
Go
more
ahead.
Questions, but I think
Yeah.
that that's something that, I've seen, yeah.
thank you.
I think you're gonna cross over on the Brown Act. And you're gonna have some issues.
Correct. I agree. We can hear the questions and Heather
I'm
can
gonna let-
respond.
The presenter, if what she said, it
I mean,
was doing the question,
Yeah.
but if you agree, then I'm gonna let you do it the way you need to do it and you call on the people as opposed to me.
Okay.
Get the questions.
Okay, so we can get the questions, so just to clarify the rules of engagement here. So we'll get the questions, we'll document the questions, I won't answer the questions, we'll prepare formal answers, we'll have all of those answers, plus I'm sure more questions at the
Okay.
October meeting. And we'll have, we'll
Okay.
build out an even more robust,
Yes.
conversation,
Yeah.
dialogue at the next meeting. Does that
Yes.
work?
I think one thing, and this may be my own experience speaking here, but you should be allowed to answer like clarifying questions. So if there was something on one of those slides that were unclear, what does that mean? You can
Got it.
answer like definitions wise, but
Got
not
it.
in terms of what is the county going to do.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, all right, so we're gonna proceed, and I always let the presenter regardless, call on the people, so I wanna do that. Olivia, thank you, Bridget, for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, go ahead with the clarifying questions.
Clarifying questions.
Well, you can
One-
ask a question, if it's not, you can ask any
One's a
question,
statement.
just she doesn't respond.
Of the statements that I have. Supposedly found. Use why it was a task of good drinking water to go to the fire station. That's gonna consume a lot of water, good water, and not used for either housing or down at Pescadero or the pipeline. Right, past on. It just doesn't, it's not logical to do. The other one, did not answer. The other one is on the testing with the task force for water. When you said you did the testing, usually it's like 3 testings, so that way I don't know if you did 3 testing, it's, so you won't because you could have a false positive. And, the other one is, on the testing, there is a certain allowable amount for, that if you're not over it, you're okay, or did it just test that it barely showed up and then it's a negative? Because there is allowable amounts, if you follow that threshold or not. You don't have to answer to next month. And, I got a few more, but I'll wait till next.
I think over there.
Here's one.
So,
Okay, hold on. So I think you had your hand up first.
I have a clarifying question and then a follow-up question. Clarifying, are the results of the task force public yet? Are you planning to release them? Is there any information that's available to the public about the task force findings? And then the other follow-up question is, who specifically is doing the tests? Are we testing the water and submitting them to a testing organization, or are there other options or plans in mind? In other words, you had said, right now you get the permit and then you don't see us. Well, that's actually a plus, not necessarily a negative. So if we're doing our own testing and submitting it, then okay, but if you can clarify that regime.
Kristen.
So, the first question I have was, you said part of the reason that all this is coming up is because of the Farm Labor Task Force went and found all this unpotable water. I was curious how many of those sources originally were tested and had Title 22 and went through the initial safety requirements. Compared to, I mean, are these all just bad players that didn't have any water work done and just started doing it? Or did they originally have water that went bad? Or they weren't upkeeping it? So that's kind of my first question. The second is about the testing requirements. You made it seem like you're just testing for bacteria for E. coli, but then you also had a secondary line talking about, well, if we find nitrates or other issues, then we may require more. And so how do you even find the other issues if you're not going to be testing for them? And I'm just wondering, like, what are the criterias and the levels of things triggering there? Because to me, that's not very detailed. And I mean, like, curious if you're going to be looking at like iron, manganese, turbidity, tannins, and like chlorine. How deep are we going? How many things are we looking at potentially getting involved? And then with septic stuff, I was wondering if the county was going to be hiring any more staff to be dealing with septic issues.
James's question, yeah, like the other two categories that you have up there require primary and secondary standard VOCs, SOCs, all that kind of stuff. And so just wondering again, like, where does that trigger happen? We require all those testings. And so, yeah, how would you determine that? And then if they're not required to do a primary, like a set of standards, of water testing, why is there a 5 and more threshold that you have to follow? And then the other thing is, would you require them to have a distribution operator's permit, or I mean, certification? Which I know you're aware of, but I just didn't know if that's, triggered. Over the years, it's gotten tighter as we go down as far as can have one. And then my other thing, was just, why does the threshold important of water testing 5 or more, but not 4 or less? So, and what that mean? That's all I have right now.
When you got folks are ready, I have Carrie Burke with her hand raised online.
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to this, could you describe a little bit more about your community engagement process that you plan? So in addition to this meeting, you're coming back in October, what other public meetings are being scheduled to discuss this topic with the people concerned?
So at this point, it is this meeting twice, and it is PMAC. And we're still reviewing other avenues for disseminating this information.
Carrie, do you have someone online as well? Would you like to take her question? Heather?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go ahead, Carrie, or I don't know if you're ready, but.
Good evening, everyone. Heather, thank you for your presentation. And it'd be really great if you could be at our next meeting. Fortunately, I can't be there tonight myself, but it would be great if you could be there on October 20th. I really do appreciate the changes to the OWTS because we do have a lot of smaller units that work for some sites. But regarding the water, the changes in the water regulations, the testing itself will cost money for the farmer to do. And even if they get some relief on that permit. So, I mean, it will just, and I mean, I know that you're aware of that, but I mean, if it's quarterly testing, whether, we have just some kind of estimates of what that would be for the 1 to 4 units. And also, I know that if you have a smaller unit, the demand, if you have a unit that's under 750 square feet, then you have the less water demand that the county seem to be willing to recognize only half a gallon of water, of gallons per minute water production from a well. So with that to me would be is I just want clarification that if they did have smaller units, that regulation would also apply to the amount of water that's required for the farm and worker housing units. And thank you for your efforts on this, and we look forward to hearing more about it on October 20th. Thank you.
What I would like to see if possible is on a paper, the current regulations and then the changes so we could compare what we have and what is this changed to. That would be helpful for me.
If you could bring at the next meeting, a handout that includes all of your slides, that would be really helpful.
Right. Well, I wasn't sure how much I was going to be allowed to share, so I picked the one slide that I thought everybody wanted to see the most. So, yes, sir.
Just a quick clarifying question. I believe it might have been slide number 9 or 10, which had the fees involved. Would you mind going to that? So I just want to make sure I understood. The permit would be per unit. It would be 2,300, or would it be per connection? Per system. Okay, 2,300. And in terms of the permitting cost, it said that they're looking for ways to extend the fee relief further. Do you have any? Is that seem promising, or is that something that you guys are working towards trying to figure out right now?
Yes,
Okay.
Supervisor Mueller and CEO are looking for opportunities to extend fee really further. We do know that we have 0 costs that we have to recover through June of 27, which is
Sure.
which is why I've got that there.
Okay. I mean, just a quick comment, and I would just mention this in preparation for the next meeting, is $2,300 is not obviously a ton of money, but it does kind of add up. And when folks are, trying to provide farm labor housing. And I think when you compare our county as a whole to a lot of other parts of the country and the state that have much more affordable housing, there are other places that have an abundance of affordable farm worker housing. And I think the permitting, obviously, as we probably all know, has something to do with that. When different permits kind of add up and sort of nickel and dime, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I think the end result in our county has been that we've pushed a lot of housing underground, and that's precisely what's led to the kind of problems that we saw with the Farm Labor Task Force reveal. So I would just recommend, in particular, trying to figure out ways to not have fees going directly to the farmers, because I think the end result of that is going to be more of just pushing things underground. I think if there is going to be a vote from our end to endorse this, I would probably just say personally, I think that would probably need to be part of it. Yeah, so I just thought I'd make that comment.
Yes, Anthony. So appreciate the changing of the domestic standards up towards the small, state small standards, but clarifying, are there any differences then between a domestic and a state system, or is it all ultimately governed as a state small water system? And if so, are you considering, continuing on that point, dropping the fees for 1 to 4 connections as a way to reflect that smaller system if all the requirements are still going to be the same as a state small water system? So that might be a potential way of navigating that balance there.
Like you said, your, connections that you got 5 to 14 is the county. We have under 14, but they did it differently than us. They did it by people over 25.
Yeah.
And so they didn't do it by connections, and I didn't hear why.
There's a people threshold.
Yes, so let me just find the slide. So I was keeping it super simple and you just answered, or you went a little bit deeper. And so, yes, there are nuances.
We
In
got
the
them
regs.
ready, hook up people. And then
Just a suggestion, maybe bringing in the state breakdown of the different systems. I know you have it, I'm sure, but I think that might be helpful visual for you guys.
Okay.
Tells you all the different, it even goes into like, schools and park, all that, but just, I think it would be helpful. It's a good diagram that explains it all for them pretty clearly.
So I just had a quick question. I'm not sure if it was in the slides, but I didn't know how often you're asking for testing. If it's once a month, if it's once every 3 months, if it's once a year. Especially when we're talking about costs, because I mean, I know at larger systems, you're talking about getting those tests every week.
Anybody else?
I guess I just am wondering, I really support the effort to make sure that all farm workers have safe water to drink. I'm wondering if there is any talk of applying the same kind of scrutiny to other residents on the coast side who may have more than one, maybe landlords who are providing water for non-farm workers who may in fact be more prepared to deal with the increased costs that you're potentially passing on to those people. And if, I know this isn't an attempt to raise money for the county, but it does seem like the scrutiny towards people providing housing for very low income people and also providing work could be detrimental to the ability for those operations to continue and to thrive.
I actually work for Supervisor Mueller. We're running into something up in the mid-coast. And is this going to be part of the building permit process that, the farmer wants to build a house or housing, and then you test the water and no building permit or plans will be issued or approved until the water is potable? Is it part of the building process already? I don't know.
One house or 5 or 2 or whatever.
Okay.
One house.
Yeah, but
That is this one right here. The bottom bullet. It states that every water source that is constructed regardless has to demonstrate out of the gate initially that the water from the source meets drinking water standards. And so that should answer your question.
Well, what's happening up in the mid-coast, it's not water. It's another issue, is they're not allowing the project to even begin until the standard is met. So let's say the water is not bad, they're making the attempt to fix it and put in the systems. Will they be able to continue building the housing and then prove at a later date that this is good before they get the occupancy permit? There's a difference there.
So, yeah, I would just have to defer on that one for the agencies at a different time. Yes, sir.
I think that the fees should stay the same for everybody. I mean, a lot of us has been paying these fees for many, many years, long time. And I know there's been a lot haven't been. And I think it should be equal to all of us should be paying the same, no matter who it is. And it's not fair that some of us, pay these fees to have good water for our workers and our people. And down the street, somebody else doesn't do any testing at all. So it should be equal, everybody, in my opinion.
I just spin off of that. I agree with like John, it's all or none. It's not just for farm labor housing or units. And it could be housing something or other down on a property that's got 4 other units that house something else that isn't farm labor, but it should be an equal thing. I mean, they should be producing just as good a water as they are, so or whatever it is. In a sense, or at least look at that and see what's out there. So I know we're specifying farm labor only, but like you're saying too, like if they're not and they're on a property down, I don't know where, whatever, that has a couple units or connections, or they meet the threshold of people too. It's not just you can have 4-unit housing on your property, but if you have 11 people or more, in that house, doesn't matter how many that threshold. So just, yeah, I think it should be farm labor or not.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I guess, related to the fees, the clarification, so this $2,300 per system is a base rate regardless of how many connections those would be. So you could have 14 connections and be charged exactly the same as if you had 1 connection. 1 to 4, yeah.
It's
So one.
it's the average amount of time. Sorry, am I allowed to answer this? I'm here to clarify.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
clarification, it's the average amount of time to provide the service to the system, and 1 to 4 it doesn't change the average amount of time. However, whereas I have a slide here that I'm going to provide the clarifying answer against, and that is the looking for opportunities to extend the fee relief. That may be, I'll just point to that.
Okay, but so people who have more than 4 units.
Yes. Currently, the state, you pay the state of California water board a higher fee. Well, currently there's none for what she's talking about. There's no testing except for the very initial 1 through 4.
Yeah, for systems.
It's because that you are regulated under a different tier.
State.
Right there.
Just wanted to comment.
Yes, sir.
We wouldn't be in this predicament if the county would have checked 4 or less right along. Farm Bureau's been complaining for years to check everybody. They didn't want to do it any less than 4, and that's where most of your problems are. And if they would have been checking all this along, everybody's water would be up to standard, and we wouldn't have this problem we have today. So kind of the county's kind of the one that, drug their feet and didn't want to do it. Now all of a sudden, you want to come out and redo all the horses out of the barn, and now they want to do something about it, but it should have been done from the beginning. As you get a permit, you should have those qualifications.
I have a question. Outside of the surveys that were done, and going out, the farm labor task force that went out and, these places, did you meet with anybody else, any other farm groups to, come up with these recommendations?
So I'll answer, how about if I answer that at the next?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in the next meeting, could you give us the data of the ones that, showed, I'll call it bad water, if it was less than 4 hookups, and then, and less than, 14 hookups, so we want to, so we could see what categories has the most infractions.
Is there anybody else, or are we okay? Oh, Ryan, go ahead.
Just looking for more clarity around the wastewater disposal. Inspections or what it look like.
Okay, I'm not sure we had inspections. But let me go
Or
find
maybe
that
not.
slide. This one? There were inspections described for the water systems, but not for the wastewater.
Did I hear you wrong? Is there not a,
Yeah, so what are you referring to? You're referring
Like
to the
septic,
wastewater? Yeah,
yeah.
so this is the septic slide here.
But in the initial slide, maybe you did state that most of the
front.
problems were related to either potable water or wastewater disposal.
Yes.
How is that? How were those problems determined? How would they be inspected in the future? I guess also just maybe what Ryan's saying too. I'm interested in more clarification on how those design modifications, concrete descriptions of how those design modifications might happen, so as to make them slightly more affordable for smaller units.
To make it more affordable for the ones that municipal water went through, they let them hook up. That way they'd be on municipal water, not use it all for the firemen to put out fires. We use creek water for that.
Else?
I appreciate it. And I know this wasn't the traditional way of giving a presentation, but it actually gives me a lot more information around what everybody wants to hear. And so we'll have this is part 1, and then we'll have a part 2, hopefully to answer all of your questions.
Thank you for your time, Heather. Thank you very much. That is, the summary of AAC's April 2025 special workshop.
Get over to your presentation.
Yeah, please, thank you, to the HDMI one, right? So if, I've got about 8 of these, so pick one and a couple, like if 2 people can share, just because it got a little costly to make these copies. But I was able to do every page, I did about 8, so. If somebody wants to grab my chair and share with Crystal, they can.
AAC portal.
What did you say?
Will this go on the AAC website?
copy here?
Yes, I believe so, because it was, sent to, yeah. If you want to grab, there's an extra chair over there. I just, need a chair. This is some information about that Prop 19, stuff that is also on here. So when we get to this, I'll address this, and it's here if anybody wants to look at it. I did make a copy. So Thank you all for being here for this. On bearings. I'm not very tech savvy at all, so I want to tell you there's a new guy, Tim, here. And Mike did it over the phone, and we were here for a couple hours today, and we did it. And it was so great. I know. And I gotta tell you, the tech guy is great. Anyway, just to let you know. So the report that we're doing, so you're aware, is the first part is gonna go into a little bit of what we call fluffy stuff, but it's gonna be data on what's currently happening as to our understanding per crop reports and interviews with the ag commissioner and the people who attended the April meeting. And then it goes into the specific things that people at that meeting discussed and that they brought up. We did it in a 3-step format so that we had it solution orientated, that what we believe the problem is, how we could fix it, and how it preserves ag on the San Mateo County coast. At that meeting, we did let everyone speak because it was important to us that it wasn't a debate. It was just to gather information. But of course, we only took from it the things that we believe will help preserve ag on the San Mateo County coast, because that's our mission here. And I want to thank the subcommittee because we had a lot of nights working on this. So thank you for that. So this slide begins with our data, and it has it's a video thing.
Hey, Natalie, are you trying to share screen?
today. 25 to 80. One family.
So, that particular song, just, so you know, I had to ask my son if he could pull it up for me, and I described it as a song that makes me cry, because it really is. And it unfortunately is, talking to somebody the other day on 92, a grower, and they said off the top of their head, they could think of 26 farms that have gone out of business in the last about 15 years. Some reasons that we have the meeting: local farm owners, specifically family farms, are producing less and less acreage and many farms are closing. California Farm Bureau reports that California lost more than 15,000 farms between 2012 and 2022, according to the U.S. Census of Ag. The San Mateo County Ag Commissioner reports that the San Mateo County Annual Crop Report has literally changed. Oh, thank you. Yay. So glad we have young people in here. Thank you, Eric. Oh,
Click through.
okay, so click through. Oh, sugar. Okay, reason for the meeting. Okay, oh, I missed the table of contents, I'm sorry. Okay, so our table of contents for the presentation: reason for the meeting, reported concerns and input after the meeting, comments after the meeting, input provided by growers, operators, and rural property owners in the 3-step format that we put it in. 5 questions, next steps, and discussions on each item, using hyperlinks to go through each item one at a time if we need to go back to that. So to an item, if you need clarification. Some reasons for the meeting: local farm owners. Okay, I said that. Second bullet point, I said. Third bullet point, basically, San Mateo County Ag Commissioner Corin Whittle reported that San Mateo County Annual Crop Report has literally changed data collection to include all flowers bunched into one group, because flower production in our county has declined so significantly. Whereas in the past, there were so many flowers, they were able to have the data separately for the species of the flower. The San Mateo County Crop Report shows a significant decrease in crop production for most of our top crops in the past 10 years. And growers are concerned about being able to continue farming here. As such, many more, a lot plan to leave. So. Okay, just to give you an idea of San Mateo County Crop Report, if you don't have it on your table side, in the past 10 years or the past 10 years of data collection. So artichokes, 2013, 59 acres of production in San Mateo County, 2023, 30 acres in production. Brussels sprouts, 2013, 760 acres in production. I'm sorry, 768. 2023, 419 acres in production. Peas, 2013, 202 acres in production. 2023, 114 acres in production. Leeks, 2013, 133 acres in production. 133 went down to 38 acres in 2023, and this is from San Mateo County Crop Report.
Natalie, you know that
Yes.
this isn't on Zoom. Nobody on Zoom can see this.
Okay, she has it.
Yeah,
We sent it to Olivia.
We're trying to.
Oh,
We should
is
be
she
sharing
not
the
able
same
to
screen,
share it?
Natalie. We should be looking
Okay,
at the same
so-
screen. I have it up.
One.
One moment.
Okay.
It's up now.
Okay, would you like me to tell you when I change screens? How can we do that?
Can you see my screen now?
Would you like to just do it directly from you instead of HDMI1, and I'll just tell you next screen?
Yeah, one moment. Let me get it up. It's,
Okay, so then here, you have to take it off HDMI1. Okay, so hold that thought.
You're up. Olivia, your screen is on.
Okay.
It's showing
so
now?
Olivia, yeah, we are on the grid for San Mateo County ag crop production. Our production, it's a monetary production from 2013 to 2023. It's the grid.
Am I on, let me know when I'm on the right slide.
Okay.
Am I
don't
keep
see
on
any
going?
slides now.
We don't, we're seeing you, not
Yeah,
your
we're
screen.
just seeing you, no slide. Okay, we're seeing slides, perfect. Okay, so the reasons for the meetings, go to the next slide. Perfect, next slide. Perfect, thank you. So this is, basically it's a grid. This is the monetary value. It's not the production value in terms of acreage. But that was from the crop report for 2013 to 2023 for San Mateo County. Okay, next slide. Why the loss of crop production? Many farmers are leaving due to the restrictions imposed on their ability to provide housing for their own family that work on the farm. Access to water for irrigation has been prohibited. Stifling or costly regulations regarding farm production. Stifling or costly regulations for PAD or RM zone parcels. A difference in what is allowed on ag land depending who owns it. Nonprofit organizations being allowed to do certain things on the same piece of land that the private landowner is not allowed to do. In many cases, halting agriculture production. Number 6, leases for ag land are being given to out of county residents rather than prioritizing San Mateo County residents who pay the MROSD taxes here. Next slide. Concerns reported from attendees after the meeting and our responses. Attendees concerned the media covering the meeting didn't cover it all on the 24 items provided by those we invited to speak, farmers, growers, and rural property owners. Our response, the subcommittee agrees and will pursue sending press releases to additional media sources to pursue proper coverage. Attendees concerned more laborers and more farm labor housing isn't the issue. Those laborers will have nowhere to farm if there's no farms left. So preserving farms is the point. Our response, we agree. We just let everybody speak in the meeting because it wasn't the time. It was the time to just take information and take what was viable to preserve farms on the coast and then put this together. So anything that wasn't under that umbrella, we didn't use. The regulations we propose on this matter, as you'll see when we get to that part, clearly state that loosening the requirements for living in farm labor housing is for owners and operators and their families only, thus preserving family farms continuing here, not providing a bunch of labor housing and there's no farms to labor, or potentially could be no farms to labor, which is the direction we're headed. Attendees concerned, we should put names in the hat for speakers rather than have them write ideas first. Our response, we will consider that for subsequent meetings. We do like that idea. Okay, next slide. Oh, that's great. I don't have to do the slicing. That helps. Reported comments from attendees after the meeting. Some of the comments we heard, farming is dead here and I've given up. Our response, well, we completely understand the feeling farming is dead here, I give up. We also know that it wasn't that long ago that farmers asked the county for specific guidelines for agritourism that we created along with the county and worked with them. And that helped farms tremendously. So we're hoping maybe we could do the same here. Comment, we need to have more meetings like these. This was great. Comment, great turnout. Really appreciate turnout. Comment, good job keeping it positive and solution orientated, not allowing it to turn into a debate. And again, that's what that particular meeting was for. So that was good. Okay, next slide. Thanks. Okay, now we move into the specific items that we receive from growers, operators, and rural property owners that will help preserve farming on the San Mateo County coast in the following 3-step format. Now, the 3-step format we used if you remember current regulations and or what we currently have or what the person believes that we currently have, because we're, sometimes we don't know every little part. Number two, the proposed change and solution that person or that group of people would like to see. Number three, how such a solution helps preserve ag on our San Mateo County coast. And again, note that some attendees voiced items without a proposed change or solution. So relevant solutions were taken from other participants and or created to assist them. And then some of these items we'd like to address with the county, the items we're going to show you next. Some of these items we can address in-house of the AAC committee, and some were general comments. After the presentation is indicated from the inception of the meeting, we're only including input and solutions that are believed to help preserve ag on the San Mateo County coast. After the presentation, we would offer up that the AAC review, discuss, and vote on taking the county content to the county and other leaders. So while the vote, do we want to do this? What do we go forward? Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so the first one, item A, it's under the category general comment. I'm sorry, it was a general comment. It's under the category housing, comment from the meeting. Current situation from meeting attendees said not allowing housing on family farms. Affordable housing equals big investment with no return. Housing in town is not helpful. And that was kind of a consensus of farmers and rural property owners and the people that we had asked to provide information. And we agree. How it preserves ag on San Mateo County coast. Families stay stable and continue to farm here as they can afford to live here. Okay, and that's a general comment. Next slide, please. Okay. This is a general comment from the meeting. There's too much time, and some of these are really in depth with the regulations, and some of them are just statements like this one. There's too much time spent trying to prevent abuse. Next, the solution proposal from the attendees: support each other and remove obstacles, less regulation. How it preserves ag, not big delay in time. Future owners don't get discouraged. Okay, so there's not a specific solution for those, but that's something we could dive into. Okay, next slide. Item C, farm labor housing comment from the meeting. The current situation, the definition of San Mateo County laborer worker that lives in farm labor worker housing must work at least 20 hours per week in agriculture, and a minimum of 50% of their income must come from agriculture. So it's a current definition, right, from planning. The solution proposal from the meeting attendee, the definition of San Mateo County farm labor worker that lives in farm labor worker housing for property owners, farm owners, and their families only living in farm labor housing. It should be required that they must work a minimum of 20 hours a week in agriculture, or a minimum 50% of their income must be earned from agriculture. How it preserves ag. This would enable farm families to live on the farms to help manage, oversee, and have security on the family farm, with the flexibility to work elsewhere by having supplemental or main income, and mostly having the younger generation to continue the farm. As farm income alone does not provide enough money these days for the younger generation to work the farm as their main source of income, and as such, under the current requirements, descendants will choose other professions and the farm will close. So basically, because what we're seeing a lot now is that a kid can make, a young adult can make a lot of money in the tech industry. And so they have to choose one or the other, because if you say it has to be 50% of their income or more, okay, comes from ag as well as the 20 hours, if, that farm's not making enough money for him to have 50% of it come from that farm. So this allows him to be able to do that, live on the farm and so forth for the farm labor housing and meet that requirement. And it's, I want to be clear, this is only for property owners, farm owners, and their families only living in farm labor housing. We're not trying to open the door for abuse, anything like that. So next, Land usage comment from the meeting. Current situation for meeting attendee. Private owned land has many restrictions, whereas the same land owned by Mid-Penn Open Space District does not have to adhere to the same restrictions, even if it's the same land. Solution proposal. To keep things equal, research needs to be done to see what requirements open space needs to adhere to in comparison to what private landowners need to adhere to. Examples, usage and subdivisions with different rules. Subdivisions. How it preserves ag on the San Mateo County coast, allowing privately owned land to have the same considerations as open space is an even playing field and reduces the opportunity for open space to buy up land because farmers can't do things with it, but open space can. When farmers don't have land to farm, their farms close. Adding to the uneven playing field is that Mid-Peninsula Open Space District isn't required to pay taxes like the private landowner. Next slide, please. Okay, item E. Current situation from the meeting attendee. Taller buildings are allowed in some zones and not in others, she said. Solution proposal from her. It needs to be an even playing field if conducive to agriculture. The allowable height of buildings on PAD and RMZ zone land should be comparable to other zone parcels. Research needs to be done on ordinances in different locations. Okay. How it preserves ag. It meets the needs of farm labor, housing, and ag production on private property if similar buildings can be built there. Okay, next slide. F, item F is a zoning requirement category. And the current situation, as it's understood from the attendee, there's a need to create more avenues for farmers to live and farm their land, especially beginners, as ADUs are not allowed on PAD land. Additionally, farmers leasing land cannot build. A congressman is currently asking for it, without giving the congressman's name, is currently asking for 1,800 square foot homes to be allowed as ADUs here. Yet on PAD land, not even 1 square footage is allowed. Solution proposal from the meeting attendee, allow PAD zone land to be used for tiny home, ADU, RV with some discretion. Regarding tiny homes require septic systems and potable H2O. Regulations like those on RV parks would allow for a doable tiny home option, he said. RVs could be stay destination RVs. How it preserves ag on the San Mateo County coast. It assists with multi-generational farm housing so that family farms can continue. It also lowers the barrier for entry into farming for beginners. Okay, next slide, please. Item G, the current situation from the attendee. The problem is that we are focusing on farm labor housing before farm production. And we as a committee wholeheartedly agree. Farmland and production has been lost. So there needs to be support for farm production first so that laborers will in effect have a place to farm or to labor. Solution, change our focus to farms and farm production as more farms are needed, not more workers. It's always my understanding that you got workers once you had the business and needed them to work, right? You didn't do it the other way around. So how it preserves ag on the San Mateo County coast. Without farms to work, laborers won't be able to labor and they won't have a place to work. Okay, next slide, please. Item H. Attendee said there's no path for younger generation to farm, only path through family. There isn't any backing to get kids into ag here from the county. For-profit farms can't have, for-profit farms can't have unpaid internships. We need more opportunities to showcase our ag here, is what the gentleman said. And the solution, provide internships with row crop farmers, etc. Farm programs in schools, I assume in addition to FFA programs. Working with schools such as Breeza Ranch is doing, Cole. And are there county programs that can help kids get into ag here at a young age at for-profit farms? So how does it help? Well, multi-generational farming, the San Mateo, and so the San Mateo County Ag AAC committee is addressing this. This goes back to a couple of meetings ago when we did an update, and I told you that Cole, we appointed him at the AC meeting to be in charge of this because Freezer Ranch has done a lot with that. So I want to, and we want to pursue this more as we each meeting. Next slide, please. Item I. Current situation, ag is overregulated here. Regulations need to be reduced, review regulations for similar items in other counties and implement less restrictive policies for farm workers, growers, and rural property owners regarding land use and farm policies. Okay, how it preserves ag. People can stay and farm here. This is almost like a given. I think we talked about this, Jess. Just, you know, the difference, Jess is the Farm Bureau Director for both Santa Cruz County and here. Is that correct? In San Mateo County. So you see firsthand, you could just sit there and probably write a list on in your spare time, right? San Mateo County, Santa Cruz County, this reg, and the differences. And big difference. Okay, so J, next slide, item J. Water is the category. Okay, the current situation, concern from the attendee. We need water resources here. Hetch Hetchy is 100 plus years old. Ponds are not enough. Well permits are excessively priced. The solution proposal from the meeting attendee, AAC meet with Resource Conservation District to discuss options to review and/or develop more water for irrigation for farms. How it preserves ag. It's a solution with water for crop production. Farms can continue farming here. Okay, next slide, item K. Water rights and land from meeting. The current situation from the attendee. When Mid-Penn and Post came here, they vowed to support agriculture in our area and support its viability. They've turned their backs on agriculture. They have taken away water rights for irrigation, decreasing farm production. They are now leasing San Mateo County ag land to out-of-county residents, displacing farmers who live here and need land. Solution. We are requesting that the AAC committee is requesting that Mid-Penn and Post meet with the AAC separately meaning Mid-Penn come one time, Post come another time, to explain their policies in choosing tenants in hopes that a system can be created that prioritizes tax-paying San Mateo County residents first. How it helps farmers with a proven history of longevity farming here will be able to continue farming here as they'll have access to water and land and won't be forced to leave. And also, of course, it helps with multi-generational farming, which is what we're hoping to be able to continue. Next slide. Okay, item L, don't worry, it doesn't go all the way to Z. Just to let you know. So item L, farm labor housing from the meeting. Okay, the current situation concern, Post took away water rights and removed farm labor housing on a family farm. This is similar to the last one, but it's one specific situation. That pushed the farm away, stopped production on multiple acres due to their removal of water rights and farm labor housing. The solution proposal, since Post publicly promotes their support of agriculture, we believe it should be required that they publicly report any of their policies or actions that take agriculture out of production as well. Needs to be, right? Okay, how it helps to preserve ag on the coast. Transparency helps people make informed decisions that affect ag in our area. So it's transparency. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Olivia, you okay?
Sorry,
Oh, there you go, Yang.
hang on,
Okay.
I'm having
Did it
internet
freeze?
issues.
Okay, so, thank you. All right, so item M is housing zoning from the meeting, and this is for parcels with one density credit. So the current situation, the concern from the meeting attendee, when we subdivide land and put a parcel into low-income housing in San Mateo County, we are made to put it into low-income housing in perpetuity. This deters multi-generational family members from building their homes on their own land and staying here to help farming and investing in the home as the value is so low, because you know the restrictions when you put it into low-income housing. The solution proposal from the meeting attendee: in Santa Cruz County, they're made to put a new parcel made through subdivision into low-income housing for just 10 years. We proposed our criteria be the same as Santa Cruz County, 10 years. Ideally, it should be none, but there is no reason to make it more than 10 years to be in line with our neighboring county, Santa Cruz. They don't require that you put it into the low-income housing in perpetuity. They say 10 years. So, and then I was asked to make sure I put that line in there. We need fairness. So make sure I did my due diligence there. Okay, so how it helps is helps preserve ag in our area because parents will be more inclined to encourage their kids to build on the property as such a large investment as a home won't be tied to a low value forever, thus being a viable investment and one that justifies staying, living, and farming here. So next slide. Okay, item N, and it's from the multi-generational category, multi-generational farms. The current situation, this is regarding Prop 19. So Proposition 19, approved by California voters in 2020 and effective February 16th, 2021, impacts property tax benefits for family farm transfers. While it maintains some exclusions, it modifies previous rules, potentially increasing property taxes for some inherited farms. Specifically, value limit and partial reassessment. If the farm's fair market value exceeds the existing Prop 13 factored base year value plus 1 million adjusted for inflation, the amount over this limit is added to the existing base year value for a new taxable value. This typically increases property taxes so significantly that heirs can no longer retain the farm. So the solution proposal, according to an article from Brett Burchett, and it might be Burkett if he's Italian, the CH is K, but I'm not sure, I don't think so. Brett Burchett, Executive Director of the San Luis Obispo Farm Bureau, Senate Bill 539 now clarifies that each legal parcel, rather than the farm or ranch as a whole, will be assessed as a family farm under Prop 19. So thanks to the work of San Luis Obispo Farm Bureau and Assessor Tom Bordenaro, among others. So, and our solution is, okay, this is really good because basically they're taking the exemption and putting on each parcel, as opposed to saying, okay, you have 4 parcels, but we're only applying one exemption, one monetary exemption to the whole farm. You see what I'm saying? Instead, each parcel is its own. Okay, so this is really good, but we want to take it a step further and meet with representatives to discuss additional ways we can create further exemptions for family farms in our county to make Prop 19 less impactful, because then we get into the multi-generational, keeping the farm, you know, not selling it because you have to, because of the when the parents die and the taxes. How it preserves ag. Families can continue to farm here. They won't be subject to such a significant increase in crop taxes to retain their farm upon the death of a parent. So next slide, please. Okay, item O is the Farm Labor Housing Loan Program. So the new Farm Labor Housing Loan Program imposes an income limit on farm workers who can live in the units. Thus, in our opinion, keeping the farm workers' income at poverty level, stifling the workers' financial growth. This Farm Labor Housing Loan Program requires that the landowner keep the unit in farm labor housing with the income restriction for 30 years, even if the loan is paid off in full before that time, thus lowering the property value of the land. There is no provision that the improvement will not trigger a reassessment for property taxes as well, which we asked at the previous meeting when they presented this to us. Also, the Farm Labor Housing Loan Program is not a forgivable loan as it was in the previous Farm Labor Loan Program. So the cost benefit to the family farm is different. Whereas the above restrictions may have been acceptable from a cost benefit standpoint in the old program when it was a forgivable loan. The credit applied to the loan balance for each month that the worker is charged less than the allowable rent is helpful, however. The solution proposal. Rather than rely on the Farm Labor and Housing Task Force and prior surveys that were in response to a loan program that was a different loan program, a forgivable loan program, the county using funds to create these programs should meet with farmers directly through groups such as AAC and work jointly with them to create the loans in a way that will optimize their use. So meet with us prior to creation rather than after and just before the launch, which I believe they came to us 4 days before the launch. The program is said to have launched August 7th, 2025. Well, it's after the fact. We now ask that county housing meet with AAC to jointly consider creating specific amendments or exemptions they address the above concerns. Because when they took the task force and what was reported by the task force that came out, and then they took the surveys that were sent by the Ag Ombudsman a few years back. But the problem is the surveys that she did, those were based on the old loan program, which was a forgivable loan program. So it was really apples and oranges, whereas they should have gotten feedback from farm groups prior to. They didn't. So this is what we're proposing is at least come back and see if there's amendments and things that can be put into place that addresses the farmers' needs for this and makes it more viable. A loan program can be beneficial to farmers and landowners, should be used, and adjustments without restrictions that stifle employees' growth, lowering property values and triggering reassessment of crop taxes could make these loans doable from a cost benefit standpoint. So that's would be the goal on that one, but we want to work on with them on that. And then next slide, please. Okay, so review, discussion, and vote. Now I have links there. So then if there's something that some of those lengthy ones that weren't general comments, if you wanted to go back to it, Olivia can go back to that and we can put it on the board if you need to clarify or had a question about it. And then we wanted to really vote and be able to say, okay, would you guys like to take this to the county and other leaders? Because obviously the county can't address Prop 19, but there are groups out there that are. So the other leaders, depending on the situation. Also, with the Prop 19, I want to let you know this is the Senate bill right here. And then these are articles about the guy that worked really hard in San Luis Obispo County to get that changed, which, you know, if you have more than one parcel, I mean, that's just a huge difference. It really helps. But we just want to help a little bit more. So hopefully, so that because it falls under the umbrella of helping to keep multi-generational farming here, you know. Do we have a discussion, a motion, Eric?
Yes, clarifying questions on, so are we taking a vote in this meeting now?
Yes.
On these items?
Yeah.
And if we vote to approve any one of these items, it gets sent to the planning division to then.
Yeah, well, we wanted to do a vote of it as a whole.
Mhm.
And then we would take it, then the AAC subcommittee that created it after the meeting, we would take it there too as a whole, take the whole thing as a whole. However, we would only take these items that are, the county can do anything with. Happy to show them the other items, but the other items we would take to the other leaders that could actually do something with them. You know, they might be able to help us with the Prop 19 stuff a little bit, but I know that's not their, you know, what they oversee. So, yeah, thank you, clarified. So is there, yes, Eric?
Before we vote, has the county made any commitments to listen to what we say here, or is this the county to-
One of the meetings.
Yeah, she said very, and actually is very enthusiastic about that. And so that's good. Yes. So, anybody else?
I have a clarifying question, actually.
Yes.
Is item O seemed to be something outside of the workshop? I thought this was a workshop.
Can you click on item O?
Yeah, it's not. I'll go back to it.
Okay.
I thought that item O was a presentation that happened and.
The item O,
That was
we
the
had
ongoing program, yeah.
at the, yeah, well,
So,
go ahead.
so is it, yeah, can you explain why you're lumping that into? Isn't this supposed to be a presentation for the workshop specifically?
Well, after the workshop, we had the AAC subcommittee, and like I said before, we took everything that was talked about at the workshop, and then we put it into this process, because our goal is to take it to the county, but first we need to bring it to you guys and see if you agree with it and how you feel. So at the workshop, farm labor housing was, loan program was discussed a lot. But then after we had the presentation, it's probably what you're referring to, because if you look at the dates, she came and did the presentation later. But we've had about 9 subcommittee meetings, and the most recent 2 meetings were after that presentation. So that's why at the subcommittee meeting, we went ahead and added some of the things in regards to what she was saying. You have to understand, that workshop was done in April. There's a lot of changes between now and then. So that's why. You're welcome. So, discussion.
What item was the county, bring to the county versus the state? It's A, C, F, it's L.
Yeah.
Let's see, A.
Last page here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would vote on, for the county items, if we wanted to do it separately, that would be A, C, F, L, M, and O. James.
As much as I don't really particularly care about dealing with posts, I don't know if I agree with item L of requiring posts to publicly report lands they take out of agriculture, because they're not like a government agency, and it feels weird that you would have government ask private entity to do something like that.
Can you, what item was that?
L.
Can you go put item L on the screen? Thanks.
I think that was more of an item that we need to discuss with.
Yeah, I mean, having discussion with them is different than requiring.
I think we could take L. Stick to A, C,
Okay, I think so too. And I think, and you make a good point, James, I think that the other stuff that isn't the county stuff, we want to discuss more, because it doesn't have the actual regulation, it doesn't have this. So I think we could vote on the county stuff, taking that, and then like you said, and then the way James talked about, we can continue that discussion for changing that if other people feel that way too. Absolutely.
There was one discussion on, if it should be presented to the county or not. We gotta get feedback.
Oh, the farm labor housing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, did we have any more comments of or questions about that? It's fine with me if you guys all want to, and also, Crystal and Cole, you guys are on the committee, if you guys, want to chime in. James?
I also don't feel like we need to take O, because I feel like we already gave them a lot of our opinions the times that they've been here.
Okay.
For all the various public meetings. I think later on, if we want to submit a letter to someone saying this is what we thought of the program after the fact, that could be a separate thing.
Do you feel, okay. So, do you all want to take O out then, and we can talk about it later?
Yeah, I have to L and O.
Okay.
Take out, focus on ones that we, A, C, F,
Okay, so O and L, you're taking, which one's L? Okay, yeah, that one. You're right, thank you, my dear.
Yeah, so we can talk about that later.
Okay. Okay. Do we have a motion for A, C, F, and M or more discussion?
Make a motion that we present AAC Deb to the county.
Okay.
To the task force. Representative.
Okay, the subcommittee as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so for the record, Peter did it and James seconded. Mike, do I do a yay and nay?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I guess, are we voting on all of the items at once?
We're voting on A, C.
I'm just unable to hold them all in my head at once.
That's okay.
We're voting on.
Yeah, we're doing it as a batch.
We're voting in a
so-
batch, but just, yeah, go ahead, James. I'm
If there's
sorry.
any that you want to take out, just let us know and then we'll.
Yeah.
reconsider.
But it's,
Well, you should ask to have them pulled out now. So you only vote on, let's say, 3 of them,
right.
and then discuss if you want it.
But what
Well, I'm
about,
just not sure what we're voting.
well, we're voting on item
I
A.
understand you, I know that they have letters, but I have to like look.
No, it's
back
okay.
at them.
On your, on the last page, John.
Yeah.
A,
I
C,
see the
F,
last
and
page
M.
as well.
What if you want to go back? Yeah.
But it's what,
But I don't know technically what I do because there was already a vote, but so tell me that too. Cole, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just to. Peter, if you're in agreement with
Oh, we
this,
did
and
the
you
yay
made a-
and nay just now.
Peter, I know you made a motion, but if we're in agreement, perhaps it would make more sense just to vote on them individually, the things that we mentioned. Just to make sure everybody's clear about what they're voting on.
Okay, so what should I
Move
do?
the maker of the motion, okay with withdrawing it.
Okay, is the maker of the motion okay with withdrawing it? We all voted too, so.
To vote for them individually.
And resolve the division.
I think individually, just so everybody's on the same page.
PSL withdraw my motion, so. we can vote
Okay,
in
and then the
individually.
second, I don't have to get it from
The
the
second
second.
should withdraw.
I'll withdraw.
Okay, thank you very much. So, okay, yeah, go ahead. Here we go.
Motion to, present to the county item, and we'll start one at a time. A,
Second.
Okay, whoa, hold on.
actually, A isn't that.
A is the general comment, it's not a county one. So you're
You have
talking,
A through, over here.
do I have A on there?
And it
You do
says
have it.
voting page on.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
it's a
that.
general comment. We can bring the general comment. to
Wasn't
the
meant to be, sorry.
Yeah, there's not a specific, I
So
agree.
C is the first one. Okay, so do you want to make a motion on C?
Make a motion to present to the county item, letter C as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so for the record, Peter Markey moved, item C is written, oh, thank you, oh my God, I knew something was off. And Ryan, sorry I'm going so fast, you guys, I'm just worried about time. And Ryan, no, Cole, thank you, Cole, oh my God, sorry. And Cole, Nazaragius, Anastasio seconded. Okay, and all those in favor for item C to present for the AAC committee, subcommittee to present to the county, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, all right, so that item C passed. Okay, so the next one,
Zone requirements.
More will be there. for-
okay, would be item F.
I make the motion
I'll second.
to present to the county as written, item F.
Okay, so Peter Markey makes a motion to present to the county item F, and James O'Ku seconds that. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, so item F passes. Okay, next. Yeah, 10-year versus forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. I'll make the motion to submit item M.
Okay, James O'Ku motions to submit item M, and Eric Hagstrom makes, seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so item M passes. Okay, next one. Oh, yeah, because we're not doing that. We're gonna discuss that. Oh, wait, oh, yeah, and A wasn't one, so there was three. Okay, and so do you all want to table the other stuff and discuss it at the next meeting, or would you like to just start the discussion now? We have like 12 minutes. You guys tell me what you want to do.
I would like to table it to the next meeting just because we start getting into it. I think we don't have.
I'll second that.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, so Olivia, if you could agendize the continuation of the discussion regarding the items that we did not get to vote on yet for the
Can
next
you
meeting.
can you confirm the items to be voted on?
The ones that we voted on?
That you did, our motion, or for next time?
L and O to continue.
L and O
L.
to continue, and the other
Okay.
ones to continue. There's others, there's a few others in there. But
You made
items-
motions on F, M, F, and C,
Item-
F, and M?
Item C like cat, item F like Frank, item M like Mary were, we voted on and were
Passed.
approved,
Correct.
passed. You know.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, the rest are for continuation.
Yeah, and if you can, if you're able to agenda, put on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thanks. We'll talk about the
Can
other
I-
ones then. And then,
And I have one more announcement when you guys are ready.
of course, go ahead.
Just a reminder, because I know sounds like we're closing. For those of you who were not able, have not submitted the survey that was sent out by Debbie Schechter, if you can please complete that, that would be great.
How many has she gotten so far? Do you know?
I know that she's got about 8 that she wants to receive still.
Eight she needs to receive. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, all right, great, thank you very much, and, you can keep the, what I sent you in the Dropbox, you can keep that for the next meeting, I don't have to do
Yes.
anything with that.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, great, all right, so, anything else before I adjourn?
I would say, the different items, Prop 19 would be like the assessor's office more so than plan. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, Robbie, you're here too. Prop 19 would be more assessor's office than planning. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that has to do with taxation.
Right.
And then one, so you need to differentiate which department you need to go to.
Okay, we have that, but that's something, since we tabled it for the discussion next meeting, that I was gonna wait and show every meeting, but thank you though. And we also, at Sam Ricardo's meeting, they mentioned, the people that were really heading the task force, to make this happen in terms of changes to that, so that we can continue to not have to, have bad things happen regarding reassessment. So, anyway, so yeah, so I have those names as well, so we can work on that, yeah. Perfect, thank you. Anything else? Okay, yay, we did it.
I make a motion during the meeting.
Okay, any seconds? Second, I think we can just adjourn now, right? But I still like that you said that. Meeting adjourned.
Olivia,
Yes.
Olivia?
was the survey only
Yes.
sent out to voting members?
That's a good question. I think it went out to everyone I have listed for the committee. Did everyone receive it? I can't hear the audio on your end right now.
I know we said that it took a long time, like,
I can, and I will go ahead and just resend it one more time. It went to all the committee.
Yes,
I went to.
Um,